What's up, Black Desert Mobile fans? It's Legit back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Sorceress build. I'm going to go over what the gear I'm currently using, weapon and armor and accessories, as well as the skills that I'm using for PvE and PvP. If this is your first time on my channel, make sure you check out the description down below for some additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. With that being said, let's dive right in. Before we get into the weapons, armor, and accessories, let's talk about the stats that you want to go for a sorceress. The first stat is always AP, attack power, and then the second stat is DP, defense power. After that, you want to go for crit chance, and then attack speed if you plan on doing a lot of PvP, and then third would be movement speed. You do want to sprinkle in some MP mana regen as well if you can on your defensive armor pieces like your chest piece. Otherwise, focus on the other three. For branch damages, I do like AAL as well for this class as well for the main branch damage. You can get away with Serret branch damage, especially for your farming setup. So you are going to want to change your skills from Serret to Serret to AHIB or AAL, depends on what that skill is. The second skill, the third skill I like or branch damage I like is AHIB. AHIB is great until you get to above 170% crit damage, then you're going to want to go to Le Breve. With the new enhancement options, we do get options to add more critical damage. Critical damage is definitely relevant. You do want to try to get that to above 170% and then switch all of your AHIB branch damage to Le Breve, which would be optimal because Le Breve branch damage increases skill crit chance, and if you have crit damage, the more crit damage you have means you want to crit more. So the more crit damage you have means more damage you do. So that way you switch your AHIB to Le Breve, so that way you can crit more. So that's the stats you want to go for. As far as weapons, armor, and accessories, again, this isn't a complete build. I'm only level 58. I'm not even level 68. This class has been out for 3 days now. The weapon that I am using is the Ultimate Mo-Rig Amulet. I did get this from Shaka 2. I did roll 2 enhancements with crit hit damage on there, so I did rock that. Optimally, you would probably want attack power on there if possible. After attack power, I would go with critical hit damage. So that's the weapon I'm using. The sub-weapon I'm using is the Rosar Talisman. This is the best yellow weapon that you can get. It is 2 slots. I do have the max HP 29 and attack plus 4. Optimally, you're going to want attack on both of those enchantments. And then for your crystals, you do want attack crystals as well. So I do have attack crystal there. For your armor, you do want Grunnel yellow armor if possible. So I do have the attack and defense crystals on those. I do go for total attack. Combat power. Optimally, you'd probably rather have attack on those. I did go for Grunnel for all these yellows. I have movement speed on the boots. I do like movement speed. It does cap me on movement speed, so these boots are putting me at 8%. You could probably get away with a different stat. I do like attack speed on the gloves and on the helmet as well, so I got attack speed there. So I'm not even capped on attack speed, but I'm real close. If I could get that AAL branch damage to, another 2% attack speed, that'd be real nice. So that's the armor that I'm using. The orange weapon or armor that I'm currently rocking is the Ultimate Toritas armor. It is not the most optimal for a sorceress. I am rocking attack speed on that gem or crystal, and then plus 8 defense on that crystal. It is also giving me some branch damage. I don't think those are the best enchantments. This just isn't the best armor for the Sorceress class. You don't want negative MP. You're going to want positive MP. I did get this when I had my Ranger class. I just swapped it over. So I am going to be going and buying another orange armor piece for the Sorceress class. But until I can do that, I am going to rock this bad boy. For accessories, I do have the Manos Ruby Ring. I am rocking 5 yellows. I will have a test out this weekend on whether plus 10 greens is better or all yellows. I am rocking all yellows because CP is king at the moment, and I want to have more CP so I can farm better. The ring is the Manos Ruby Ring. I got the Scarlet Necklace. I got the Nerte Belt. I have the Red Coral Earrings and the blue scale bracelet. Now with the accessories are really, they're really flexible. You can swap them out. You can buy whichever accessory you're low on. I always like crit chance, but again, I'm capped on crit chance, so I don't need all accessories with all crit chance because you can get crit chance on enhancements. I do have crit chance on all my accessories though. So that's the accessories that I'm using. The relic that I'm using is a all attack relic. It is at 28 plus 1, and it does give 7.5% AAL damage, so that is the most optimal as far as attack goes. You could get away with the AP and DP relic, which is obviously more combat power total, but I like just doing more damage. So that's the weapons, the armor, and the relic that I'm currently rocking. I do have a weapon and an outfit skin in the works that is being made at the very moment, so as soon as I get those completed, that'll add another 10 combat power total for each, so 20 total. Alright, so that's the weapons and the armor that I currently have. Let's talk about the weapons and armor to go with. Now, I'm not going to talk about the red weapons and armor. Obviously, if you get those, you're going to want to go for those first. The best weapon that you can go for aside from the reds is the Ultimate Liberto Amulet, which is giving you 5% crit. So if you're not maxed on crit, great option. After that, I do like the Uria, which is giving you 2% crit and then 3% attack speed, with giving you those 2 slots as well. And then the last one would be Seleth. The only downside is you're swapping out crit for attack speed, so you want to make sure you're still capped on crit, and that is giving you 2 gem slots as well. For the sub weapon, there is no red option, so your best slot is the Ultimate Rosar Talisman. Right there, Ultimate Rosar Talisman, which is costing 400,000 or 400 million silver, giving you 3% crit and 3% movement speed. That would be equivalent to the regular Rosar Talisman that I currently have. After that, the good option is the Helric Talisman. The Rick Talisman is good as well, giving you that attack speed, and then the Jubre is also good. You can't go wrong with either one of those, in my opinion. Those 4 talisman for sub weapon are good choices. For the armor, I do like the Ultimate Gruntle Armor as the best option for the helmet. The second best option would probably be the Xerath, which is still giving you that 4% crit. For basic armor, instead of the Ultimate Toritas like I currently have, I would probably go with the Xerath. Aside from the Ultimate Gruntle, I would probably go with the Xerath or the Azarian, because it does increase your MP regen and max MP. For gloves, aside from Ultimate Gruntle gloves, I like the Xerath again, so it's giving you that 4% attack speed. The Azarian wouldn't be a bad option if you are maxed on attack speed and crit. And then for the shoes, Ultimate Gruntle shoes. If not the Ultimate Gruntles, you can get away with the Xerath, so your movement speed still staying the same. I don't like Toritas. Azarian is a good option again for MP if you're capped on movement speed. So that is the weapons and the armor to go for. For Lightstones, again, the most optimal Lightstones, in my opinion, is Lightstones with critical hit damage on them, because aside from enhancements, it's the only place you can get critical hit damage. My Lightstones are not perfect. I do have 4 Lightstones on both my Ranger and my Sorceress, so I did stockpile them. This one is MP plus 6 and defense plus 5, so I do like MP as an option for some of these. This one's got plus 6 attack and critical hit damage, so that one's very nice. This one's Serret and attack plus 6. And then this one is MP and combat experience. So that one's not good at all. I'd optimally like to have either combat power plus attack or plus defense, or critical hit damage. If you can't get that, you probably, it'd be better to have a branch damage option on there instead of those 2 options. But that's the Lightstone I have at the moment. As far as crystals, like I said, the best crystals you can go for is combat power crystals. So I do like AP or DP, preferably AP over DP. And then for enhancements, the best enhancement option for the weapon is either attack or critical hit damage. If you can't get either one of those, I like the AAL damage option, and that is for both slots. For the sub weapon, I do like attack first, then second would be defense, and then third would be AHIB damage. For your helmet, I like attack speed or AAL branch damage, in that order. Attack speed first, then branch damage, simply because I'm capped on crit. I don't need crit. For your armor chest piece, I like the defense first, then critical hit damage, or even critical hit damage over defense. But again, combat power is king, so you can't go wrong with either one of those. For your gloves, I like attack speed there, and then AAL damage. And then for the boots, I like movement speed. I am capped on movement speed now, so I could probably get away with swapping that to either Serret or Lebrev. Serret if you're going to be a big farmer, Lebrev if you plan on killing a little bit more and have over 170% crit. Alright, so that is the weapons, the armor, the accessories, the Branch damages that I recommend, that is the Lightstones, the crystals, and the enhancements. So let's talk about the skills. There's a lot of skills with the Sorceress class. The Sorceress class offers many different abilities. I mean, you get forward guard, you have knockups, you have knockdowns, you have binds, you have stuns. There is a lot of different options to play with. So I'm not saying my skill setup is mastered. I will go over the skills. This is my PvE skill setup. The skills that I'm using for this one is miasma. And again, this is just 3 days in. I'm not saying this is perfect. This is what I'm rocking to kill mobs at the moment. I'm probably going to end up tweaking this a little bit, but this is what I'm using. I'm using miasma. I'm using implosion. I'm using shadow eruption. And then the big one that I like a lot is singularity. That's just a heavy hitting ability. I like it a lot. And then I use Wrath of Chaos on the bottom. Doom Vortex. And then these ones can be swapped out a little bit. Unholy Smite and Eviscerate. For my PvP skill setup, I have a little bit different. So I like the Phantom Crash, which is, jumps towards the target and it stuns them. And while it's jumping, it gives you super armor. I like Singularity because of that initial damage it does. So after I use the Phantom Crash, I hit him with Singularity, which does initial damage and then it does damage over time. I like Wrath of Chaos, heavy hitting damage ability again, knocks him down, and you get super armor. I do have Dark Pulse in here. This is one that you could possibly swap out. This does offer a 50% increased range, so it does have some range to it, and it does use mana. And you could just continually shoot this ability off if somebody's at range. I haven't mastered it yet. I might take that off my PvP skill setup, but I have used it a little bit. It does work pretty nice. I do use Flashbang. This is a paramount for PvP. It has a lot of range. It knocks the target down and it does a lot of damage. So you hit the person with this, and then you can follow it up with a Doom Vortex or your Singularity or your bigger abilities. I do also have Implosion on there. It does grant super armor and it does a lot of damage, as well as Demon Vortex. So you can, if you hold that ability in, it casts that ability right away and you get knocked down once you get that ability leveled up. And then the last one I use is the Unholy Smite. You do get forward guard when using this ability, so it jumps towards the target. You can't be stunned once you're using that forward guard, and it does a decent amount of damage, and then typically it knocks them down with that ability. So that's the ones I'm currently using for PvP. Let's talk about Shards of Darkness. What's Shards of Darkness? Shards of Darkness, you can see there's 3 empty slots right now on my screen, my skill bar. Every 10 seconds that fills up and I get an additional shard, as you saw right there. So what do those shards do? There's 4 skills that have these shard activated abilities. The first skill is Midnight Stinger. When you have that shard activated, it grants an additional attack and it deals the same damage as Midnight Stinger and it inflicts knockdown. So that ability with the shard could actually be really useful in PvP. The next ability that has this shard is Implosion, and it gives 20% attack range on Implosion when you use that shard. When you have a shard and it uses a shard. So how do the shards get used? When you use that ability and you have a shard, it uses a shard for that ability. If you don't have a shard, it just does the standard ability. The next one is Flashbang, which is great for PvP, so it does plus 15% skill damage, so that thing's just hitting like a truck. And then we have one more here, which is Soul Siphon. This one gives, after consuming a Shard of Darkness, AP reduction is by plus 30%. Not a big fan of Soul Siphon. Soul Siphon was supposed to be our heal. We don't have a heal at the moment. It is what it is. But that's the skills. Let's talk about the branch damages that I have on each skill. On the Holy Smite, I am rocking Serret over Lebrev at the moment. Miasma, I'm rocking AL over Serret at the moment. Implosion. Shadow Eruption, I'm rocking AL over Ahib. Demon Vortex, I'm rocking Ahib over Serret. And then Singularity, I'm using Ahib over Lebrev. And then Wrath Chaos, I'm using AL over Lebrev at the moment. That is the skills. That's the skill setup I use. I will give you guys a more advanced Sorceress guide here in a week or two once I've mastered. I also have a PvP video out here for you guys shortly, showing you guys some skills and combos. There is a ton, so it's going to take a little bit of work. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, make sure you think about subscribing. With that being said, I will see you next time.